Hello everyone, this is Todd from Hartland Oaks and Fletcher from Hartland Oaks also. Today we're here talking about last week and how rough it was. You know, we had to get rid of T-Bone for, you find that story online. And then we finally decided to let Nico go. He was a little lamb we had for 6 or 7 weeks. Catted sheep, really. He was born without the use of his legs, and someone was online and they found us and thought that maybe we could rescue him. And we tried really hard. None of his legs worked. And we tried rehabbing him. We gave him a good home. We gave him all the love and attention he could want. He slept in bed between us. My wife took him to work. My wife dressed him up. He was quite a character. He was in the town's play. Well, not the town, but the church. Our vet, he treated Nico a few times. Another vet looked at Nico a few times. And, at first we didn't know, maybe vitamin deficiency. Maybe he was just born without the use of his legs, some cerebral thing. But then as time went on, his bones just started breaking. And he didn't really have feeling in his back legs. So one bone broke. My wife was just giving him a bath, because he was wearing diapers and making a mess. And my wife gave him a bath and was drying him off. Then all of a sudden, boom, she's like, "Oh, I think his leg broke." And I felt it, and sure enough, it did. And we took him to the vet, and they wrapped it and everything, and we were treating it best we could. And then one day I sat him down, and I heard another pop, and I was freaking out. I'm like reaching all over, and I thought it was his other leg. I couldn't find anything. I was like, "Whew, that's good." But then when we took him to the vet, they looked at him and x-rayed him, and they were changing his bandage, and he broke his femur on that same leg, and it was compound, went right through his skin. And, he didn't feel it. He didn't even know. And, again, we didn't know what to do. We tried all these different things. We got a bigger splint, and, we talked about amputation. And then, like a week later, his other leg broke. And at that point, we didn't know what to do. I mean, is it really fair for us to keep little Nico around as much as my wife loved him, as much as he's growing on us and everyone else? I mean, people would want to babysit Nico, and everyone just loved to hold him. But was it fair to keep Nico and keep him around just for us? And that was the decision we made. And we chose to, my wife really talked it over, and she chose to let Nico go. And we got to the vet. The vet, he's an old school guy, old farm vet, who tried to talk us into putting Nico down earlier on. And he came in, and I could tell he didn't want to do it. He was like, "We don't have to do this." And I'm like, "I know." And he was going over the options. And this is the same vet, they used him in his church play. And, he kept, and all the people at that clinic, they spent a lot of time with Nico, the little lamb. And he's like, "Well, we could let it be." And I'm like, "Well, that's not really fair. His bones keep breaking. What if something else breaks? What if something he feels breaks? What if he falls and hits his head or his neck?" The vet's like, "We could amputate, double amputation, but ruminids, I guess that's what you call sheep, don't usually do well with that type of surgery." And the vet kept saying he's probably not going to make it to adulthood anyways. And, we started talking about what that would mean financially, because we have a lot of animals to take care of. And ultimately my wife's like, "Well, right now he's happy. He's living a happy life. I would rather him go now, living a life of happiness, than going through the hardship of a double amputation and the pain and the chance of infection and then having to put him down." So as much as I didn't want to do it, as much as she didn't want to do it, we thought it was the best choice for little Nico. And a lot of people came in and supported us at the vet clinic and gave my wife the hugs she needed. And she wouldn't do this video with me today because she's like, "I just don't want to talk about Nico right now." So I'm like, "All right, I'll do it. I'll throw in some videos of Nico and the happiness we gave him before we let him leave." And So we put Nico down and brought him home, and we buried him in the back. He was a happy little lamb. He brought a lot of happiness to not just us, but to everyone. You know, he just always, I know lambs don't smile, but it was like he was always smiling. He was always happy. He didn't have a complaint in the world. Even though he was born without the use of his legs, it's like he was happy every day. You know, he tried to get up and move. He just seemed like he lived the best little life he could, and we tried to give him that. What's wrong, Fletcher? Choking? Well, I wish little Nico was still here to say hi, but he's not. It's been a little over a week now, so I felt a little stronger about talking about him because I was kind of a little teary-eyed myself. The little guy grew on me. But that's what happened with little Nico. I thought I'd share that. So, I guess with that, I'm going to sign out. Fletcher, say goodbye, buddy. Till next time. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your days. And we'll see you next time at Hartland Oaks. Signing out. Bye-bye.